Welcome guys, and let's continue with the topic which we had started in the previous episode, that is exception. So out of the 8 points which we have finalized in exception, out of these 8 points the definition has been explained. Built-in classes, yes, we have explained that too. Your built-in classes in exception handling, that too has been covered. Classes in exceptions also has been covered. Okay, so this also has been done. Then syntax of exception handling, the previous program which we did, except demo, if you all remember the previous program which we had done, except this was except demo program. So in this we had discussed the syntax of exception handling. So the try block, immediately the catch block follows the try block, and then the finally block. The finally block is optional. This was also done, discussed. Okay, and then we also did multiple catch. One try block can have multiple catch statements. So as mentioned in this program, you can see one try block has two catch. This is the first catch and this is the second catch. This catches will act like your switch cases. So depending on which exception occurs first, it will go in the corresponding catch block. So if the input mismatch exception occurs first, this code will be executed, or if the arithmetic exception occurs first, then this code will be executed. So this also has been done. Now let's come into the fifth point, default exception handling. Default exception handling is the same as the default case in your switch. So if I say enter number 1, 2 and 3, and for 1 I need to display English, and for 2 I need to display Hindi. These are your languages on your IVR, the customer care service which we call for Vodafone, Airtel. So okay, so I will switch the lang will be an integer variable. Okay, so it will be integer lang, and you will tell the user please enter your choice, and you show him the option 1 for English, 2 for Hindi, 3 for Marathi. Whatever language he chooses, I'll switch it. So if he enters 1, so I'll go in case 1 and I will SOP thank you for choosing English. Choosing English as your preferred language. Break. Similarly, so on and so forth for case 2 and for case 3. What if he chooses enters 4, 5 or 6? So apart from this case, if there is any other option which has entered, we'll go where? We'll go in default and we will SOP please enter valid input. So how this default works, same to same, this default exception handling also works same to same manner. Let's do a, okay, I'll just show you a program overview, then we'll start with that. Okay, this is for default exception handling. I have an array A to size of 2. The size of the array is 2. So we'll have how many indexes? 0 index and 1 index. In 0 index, I'll store the numerator. In 1 index, I'll store the denominator. Then what I want is, I want to divide the numerator with the denominator. This is what I want to achieve. So it should result in the output 5.0, and result will be a float variable. But I will try to purposely write this. Now tell me, is 2 a valid index for the array A? Is there any index A of 2 over here? No. Because if the array is of size 2, the index will be 0 and 1 only. because index always start from 0. So which exception do you think it will throw over here? See at the index 3. See at the third point, which is this index, array index. So this will lead to array index out of bounds exception. Correct. So let's start. I'll just copy the code which we have for previous program, and then we'll start with this. So let's declare the array integer a, size integer a. This square bracket means it is the array variable equals to new integer, and here you have to give the size, and we'll take the float as your result. Scanner try, enter numerator, will go in which variable? Will go in a of 0. Correct. Enter denominator, will go in which variable? Will go in a of 1. Correct. Now what do we have to do? What will go into result? Result will be a. So I will on purposely write a of 0 divided by a of 2. A of 0. So a of 0 is the valid index, and a of 2. Now is this a valid index? No. So this should throw array index out of bounds exception. But now as I am teaching default exception handling, so how many exceptions can occur over here? First exception which can occur is your input mismatch. So here if I ask the user to enter numerator, and while entering the numerator he enters 10.0 or he enters z, then that will lead to which exception? Input mismatch exception. Okay. Second, if he enters the number as valid, he enters the number as 10, but he enters the denominator as 0. This can lead to which exception? Arithmetic exception. But here what do you have? You have array index out of bounds exception. So at the end I will write a catch with the exception class. Exception is the parent class for all the exceptions. Exception E. So if the exception is not caught by this catch and also not caught by this catch, it will surely be caught by this catch. Just as your cases. So if it doesn't go into case 1, if it doesn't go into case 2, if it doesn't go into case 3, it will surely go into default 100%. So similarly, if that exception is not caught by input mismatch, so the inputs data type were correct, the denominator also was not 0, everything was correct, but it will be caught by whom? This is 2. So this will lead to array index out of bound exception, but here I am giving what? Exception E. So if the exception was not caught by this, it will surely be caught by this. And here what will we display? Will display system dot out dot println, and we will some exception occurred. Okay. So this is called as your default exception handling, and it will always go in finally. So what will finally print? Thank you, visit again. Main closes, class closes. Okay. So let's scan through the code. Is everything working fine? Yeah. Array of size 2, float variable, result is divide. So if it throws an exception, goes into this or this. Yeah, okay, perfect. Let's change the class name to default exception. Default exception, and let's save this. So I go to my exceptions folder, default exception .java. Okay, and now I run this code. Java C default exception .java. It's compiled perfect, and now let's run it. So while entering the numerator I am entering perfect. So this while enter denominator I am entering 2. So Input mismatch also is not there, arithmetic also is not there, but what is there now? It will lead to this one. This is which one? Array index out of bounds. Have I used that? But I have used exception, so this will catch all sort of exception. Exception E will catch all the exception, so it should show some exception occurred. It should show this message, and it will always execute finally, so it will show these two messages. Okay, let's try. So let's enter. See, it shows these two, but which exception occurred? Some exception. So if you want to see the exact exception, do you see the object E over here? We can convert this to toString and display it. Some exception occurred, a string concatenated with E dot, just will concatenate it with E, so it should call the toString method of this E. So we'll just write E over here. This will call the toString method, so it will exactly show you which exception has occurred. So which exception are we expecting? We are expecting this array index out of bounds exception. Let's try. So as we have done modification in the code, we need to save as. So we've saved it. Okay, the CMD is already opened, so let's use this same one, Java C, and now Java default exception, and now if I hit enter, 10 and 5, these two are valid. It will show you some exception occurred, and which one? Java.lang.array index out of bounds exception. Okay, and then finally will always be executed. Clear? This is called as default exception handling. So this topic also has been covered. Now the next topic is nested try. Next topic is nested try. Okay, let's